into the white tracts. These are myelinated. This neuron will go up the spinal cord to the brain, spin it around, decide what to do with it, and then come back down on these tracts to go into here to go to motor neurons at multiple levels down your spinal cord. So the reflex arc is in and out. That pulls your toe back. Going up to the brain is going to be all your processing. That's you stub your toe, so the reflex arc is pull your toe back. The next one is hopping on one foot, cursing the coffee table, falling down, griping, why didn't I put my shoes on? All that is going on up there in the brain. All the stuff coming down, it may come out at multiple levels, right? You've got to grab your foot, you've got to rub your toe, you've got to hop on one foot, you've got to fall over, you've got to curse the coffee table. It's coming out at multiple levels, right? That's decided by your brain. When it sends a signal back down the tracks, it can come out anywhere it wants, anywhere it needs to come out. Okay? But we have flipped from gray in the inside to gray on the outside, right? That happens in the brain stem, the medulla oblongata right here. It literally crosses each other. Okay? The other thing you need to know that's in your book that'll catch you a lot is the brain and the spinal cord. So if this is my brain, there's my brain, and here's my spinal cord. The whole thing is surrounded by 3 connective tissue sheaths. And they spell DAP. Dura mater, arachnoid layer, and pia mater. Okay, dura mater is what you might think. Dura mater is durable. It is a white, tough, connective tissue sheath. I cannot tear it with my bare hands. It is tough. It's as thick as a sheet of paper, and I can't tear it. Very tough. It's outside. This is all the way in. The arachnoid layer, anybody know what an arachnid is? Spider. The arachnoid layer is a spider web. And since here's your dura mater, thick, tough, your arachnoid layer looks like a spider web. This is where your cerebrospinal fluid is at. It's in that layer. Okay, the next layer is the pia mater. The pia mater means in Latin, mother's layer. It is clear as saran wrap. It is thinner than saran wrap. It sucks right down on the brain itself, and it is so delicate, if you look at it crosswise, it'll tear. It is super, super delicate. Delicate, durable spider web. The cerebrospinal fluid, the 3 layers, go all the way around your brain, all the way around your spinal cord. The cerebrospinal fluid is produced in the hollows of your brain, the ventricles, and then the central canal. Cerebrospinal fluid comes down these, out, all the way back up, is reabsorbed. The cerebrospinal fluid not only keeps you nutritious, bathes your brain in nutritious stuff, it also keeps you from having shock absorber syndrome. If you get a concussion, that's where your brain sloshes in your brain case, your skull, and hits the skull, and you bruise it. That's what getting a concussion is. And you bruised your brain. Ever figure out how a woodpecker can smack that tree so many times without hurting his brain? He's going... A woodpecker, your brain sits there, and here's your skull, right? A woodpecker has a skull like this and a brain like that. He's got a lot of water. So when he smacks a tree, his goes, it never hits the skull. So he never gets a concussion. Woody Woodpecker is never confused, or other than the fact that he's confused as a cartoon character. Okay, woodpeckers don't get concussions. That's how they first started making football helmets with gel instead of foam rubber. Somebody looked at a woodpecker and decided, wait a minute, our guys are getting concussions. The woodpecker ain't getting no concussions. What's the deal? He's got gel around his brain, so they made pads with gels. Now they got air pumps that pump it full of air too. Gives you that slosh room, lets your head slosh, which doesn't mean your brain sloshes right against. It goes with it some inside the helmet. Cut down the number of concussions. Okay? This is the gist of what you're going to do. Your white matter, your gray matter, dorsal root ganglia, ventral root, gray, white. This is your central canal filled with cerebrospinal fluid. And then this whole thing is surrounded by dura mater, so the whole outside's got cerebrospinal fluid. In addition to that, the other thing you need to know in here are your cranial nerves, right? I said there were 12 cranial nerves. You got to know them all. Where's the eraser? Who's hiding? You got 12 cranial nerves. And then I'll turn you loose to start looking at this stuff.
Seriously?
You've got your soul and your sternum, your radical gland, your matter, and
I don't know, I think you wrote that.
oh yeah, that's definitely
12 cranial nerves. There is a mnemonic to learning the cranial nerves.
Is it blue?
Which channel? Which channel?
It's Sweetie Night. Channel 2. Thank you. You're welcome.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't go to that Scramble channel.
Okay, this is a mnemonic. On old Olympus towering tops, a fat-ass German viewed some hops.
All right.
Okay? There's a mnemonic in your book. It doesn't really make a sentence, so it's not very good. Also, this one actually makes a sentence. It's a little bit dirty, so people tend to remember it better.
Yes,
Okay?
it was drinking, yeah.
On, olfactory, optic, oculomotor, trigeminal, trochlear, abductions, facial, auditory, glossopharyngeal, vagus, somatosensory, and hypoglossal. Okay? I learned this when about 1978. Still remember it. Okay, every one of these will get you the first letter.